Well, good morning there, men. Again, we're in the book Disciplines of a Godly Man by R. Kent Hughes. Thanks again for joining me during this session. I mean, we've got like 6 chapters left before we finish this book. And, can't necessarily say how many videos it would take to complete our series, but each one of these little videos is packed with so much information that even if it takes you twice as long to get through the videos, I'm just so glad that you're taking the time, 10 minutes of your day, to listen to these videos and try to apply the biblical principles to your own personal life. So, again, we're in this book, Disciplines of a Godly Man by R. Kent Hughes, and we're in this chapter on perseverance, how to have the discipline of perseverance. And last time we talked about that word divest or divestment, which simply means to throw off anything that hinders you. You need to strip down, if you will, the sins and the anything that would keep you from running the race and persevering and doing it well. So we looked at 6 specific sins yesterday that really can cause us to not finish the race. And those things may be jealousy, pessimism, lust, pride, anger, lying. All of those things are very common to man. All of those things can probably be found in every man. And it takes a daily discipline to throw off those besetting sins and run the race like you were intended to run it. So, with that being said, we are talking about running today. We're going to continue on in our chapter, and he's entitled this section Run. So, let's begin. Properly divested, with every hindrance cast aside, there remains one great thing to do, and that is to run. The verse says, "And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." Persevering grit is an awesome, beautiful thing. Writer and sometimes marathoner Art Carey described in a memorable piece for the Philadelphia Inquirer his experience of, quote, hitting the wall, and then going on to finish the Boston Marathon. We pick up his story near the end. He writes, "By now, the rigors of having run nearly 20 miles are beginning to tell. My stride has shortened. My legs are tight. My breathing is shallow and fast. My joints are becoming raw and worn. My neck aches from all the jolts that have ricketed up my spine. $50 blisters sting the soles of my feet. I'm beginning to feel queasy and lightheaded. I want to stop running. I have, quote, hit the wall. Now the real battle begins. Up the first of many long inclines I start to climb. Heartbreak Hill. The last, the longest, and the steepest, a half-mile struggle against gravity designed to finish off the faint and faltering. The last 4 miles are seemingly endless. Finally, the distinctive profile of the prudent building looms on the horizon. I begin to step up my pace. I can see the yellow stripe 50 yards ahead. I run faster, pumping my arms, pushing off my toes, defying the clutching leg cramps to mount a glorious last gasp kick. Cheers and clapping. 10 yards. Finish line. An explosion of euphoria. I am clocked in at 2 hours, 50 minutes, and 49 seconds. My place? 1,176. I find the figures difficult to believe, but if they are accurate, then I have run the best marathon of my life. While times and places are important and breaking a personal record is thrilling, especially as you grow older, the real joy of the Boston Marathon is just finishing, doing what you have set out to do, end quote. Persevering grit possesses a terrible beauty, but it is eternally beautiful when devoted to the real-life spiritual race that is marked out for us. The sense of biblical perseverance is patient fortitude, patiently, quote, gutting it out. We each have a specific race mapped out for us. The course for each runner is unique. Its uniqueness is determined by God, who charts it, factoring in who you and I are right now as to our giftedness, backgrounds, responsibilities, age, health, and most of all, who we are in Christ. Your race is like no one else's. It is marked out for you where you are a student, a single person, or a parent. Some races are relatively straight. Some are all turns. Some seem all uphill. Some are a flat hiking path. They are not all equal. All races are long, but some are longer. But the glory is, each of us, no exceptions, can finish the race marked out for us. I may not be able to run your course, but you may find mine impossible, but I can finish my race and you yours. Both of us can finish well if we choose and if we rely on Him who is our strength and our guide. We can experience the same exhilaration the Apostle Paul did as he neared the finish line. I have fought the good fight, he says. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith, 2 Timothy 4:7. Depending upon God, there is no doubt that we can finish the race marked out for us and finish it with satisfaction. Whoever you are and wherever you are, you can do it. Perseverance has nothing to do with giftedness, but everything to do with your heart. In 1981, Bill Broadhurst entered the Pepsi Challenge 10,000-meter race in Omaha, Nebraska. Surgery 10 years earlier for an aneurysm in the brain had left him paralyzed on his left side. But on that misty July morning, he stood with 1,200 lithe men and women at the starting line. The gun sounded and the crowd surged ahead. Bill threw off his stiff left leg forward and pivoted on it as his foot hit the ground. His slow plop, plop, plop rhythm seemed to mock him as the pack raced into the distance. Sweat rolled down his face and pain pierced his ankle, but he kept going. Some of the runners completed the race in about 30 minutes, but 2 hours and 29 minutes later, Bill reached the finish line. A man approached from a small group of remaining bystanders. Though exhausted, Bill recognized him from pictures in the newspaper. It was Bill Rogers, the famous marathon runner, who then draped his newly won medal around Bill's neck. Bill Broadhurst's finish was as glorious as that of the world's greatest, though he finished last because he ran with perseverance. Biblical perseverance that refuses to be deflected, overcomes obstacles and delays, and is not stopped by discouragement within nor opposition without, is available to us all. It is quite within the reach of every one of us to manifest positive, conquering perseverance, putting one heavy foot in front of the other until we reach the glorious end. The race is not for sprinters who flame out after 100 or 200 or 400 meters. It is for faithful plodders, people like you and me, fast or slow, strong or weak, we must all persevere. All right, so I'm going to end right there. And I do have a couple of questions to ask you. So here's a food for thought question. What is the race that God has mapped out for you like, what is the race that God has mapped out for you like? Straight, twisted, flat, or hilly? Why or why not are you able to persevere in that race? What has been your greatest victory so far? Do you think that at the end of your life you will be able to say, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Why or why not? What would it take to be able to say that? What can you do today to lead to that result? All right. Thanks again for joining me. This has been a session of Disciplines of a Godly Man by R. Kent Hughes. And next time we'll be finishing this chapter and moving on to the third section of this book. All right. So have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.